Next Sunday marks 3 years I've been here. It's crazy. I seen it on Facebook 3 years ago, next Sunday, the exact day. 3 years ago, I got the opportunity to meet a phenomenal person who in 3 years made such an impact on my life that I cannot even explain. And I'm going to try to go through this and not cry. So, hang on. I called Cody this morning, and I said, Cody, I just want to get your permission. I know you've got lots going on. He said, yeah, we got a lot going on. I think we'll make it today. I said, but today, I said, I've tried to get my sermon ready that I had planned for today. And I said, I just can't do it. And I said, I really want to honor Sister Louvell today and just tell some stories I know she would enjoy. And we're going to laugh, and we're going to talk about some things about her. And I said, I'm not preaching a funeral today. I just want to talk about her and what impact she had on us and what she's had on me. I know I've just been here 3 years. I can't imagine y'all. But like I said, just in a few short years, the impact she's had on me. And he said, no, that'd be phenomenal. He said, I love that. Thank you. We talked for a little bit. So remember them in your prayers, most definitely. They're going at 2 o'clock today to get everything ready. And I can't imagine. So just be with them in your prayers. But I just want to talk a little bit. And first and foremost, I'm preaching out of the King James Version today. And if you don't know the joke about that, Miss Louvell would always ask me, when I'm in Bible study especially, she'd say, Kendall, my Bible don't read the way yours does. She's KJV, right? And I always read out the NIV or something different, and she'd always say, mine don't read the same. And I said, well, Miss Louvell, it's because mine has pictures and yours don't. And she said, that's got to be it. One day I told her, I said, are you sure you're not reading the Quran? I said, let's just be in it. She thought, yeah, she laughed. So anyway, I just thought I had to. I had to bust out the KJV today to do this, and we're just going to read some scripture right here. We're going to be in Deuteronomy 6, 5 through 7. This is a command to the people, the Hebrew people here, the newly created Israelites. They had left Egypt now. We're past Exodus, and they're on their traveling. They're going to the land that the Lord had promised them, and He made a command for them. And I think these things that were commanded to these people completely and 100% epitomize Sister Louvell. So I'm going to read them now. The Bible says, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thine soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by thy way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today, Lord, we want to honor Sister Louvell, the impact she's made, Lord God. This is a testimony today of how good you are for placing somebody like her in our lives, Lord God, and blessing us. Like I said, Lord, I've just been here a few short years, but just the impact, Lord, that she's made in that time is amazing, Lord God. And we just want to thank you today. This is a form of worship to you. Lord, we ask that you just bless us, each and every one of us, Lord God, that these moments here today, that these are things, we're not just talking about a person today, a great person, Lord God, that's now with you, but we're talking about a way of life that we all need to strive to reach and be, and it's all wrapped around you, Lord. And we'll give you the praise, and we'll give you the glory, and everybody says, amen. Like I said, 3 years next Sunday, and I remember the first one. I do. I remember when I came and I wasn't even really trying out. I just came to preach one Sunday night, and I remember she come up and talked to me and visited with me a little bit, and little did I know that this little old lady was going to be was who she was, spry and quick. Y'all, I thought I was witty until I came here. and just what she would mean to me, and what I know she means to everybody. And there's 3 words, and y'all know I'm a 3-point guy. And a lot of times I'll have them start with the same letter, and today it was easy. Friday, we found out, and just to kind of give you a little quick, this is just something that epitomizes who she was and just amazes me. Bradley's 6 years old, and we found out, my phone had went down, so I was a little late finding out with everybody else, but I found out, so I called Tammy, which is my stepmom, who was supposed to be coming to get Bradley anyway for the weekend. So I called her and said, where you at? She's had me in Duncan. So I said, well, can you come get little girl, because I got to go be with some family. And we went over there. Well, she showed up, and I guess she had told Bradley something happened to somebody. So Bradley said, what happened? And I said, well, Sister Louvell's passed away. And Bradley, 6 years old, sits up front, runs back and forth, kind of clueless, runs back and forth to children's church, He said, oh, man, everybody's going to be sad, he knew, 6 years old, what an impact she was. I just thought that was cool. You know, that kind of spoke to me a little bit there, what an impact she was. But there was three, and I got back that afternoon, and I was waiting on Sarah to get off work, and we'd been up there at the lumber shed and seen everybody. I seen several of y'all there, and we were there, though, and I was just kind of sitting outside. It was raining. I thought, I'm sitting on the porch. I was just kind of still in shock, you know, like I'm sure, you know, still kind of in shock. But I was just sitting out there, and the Lord kind of began to just kind of give me this. And I got 3 points, and they all start with an L, and the first one is this. That is a trait of Sister Louvell, and that is love. First of all, Sister Louvell loved the Lord, didn't she? If you didn't know it, you didn't ever talk to her, or sit beside her, or sit in the same church as her, or in the same restaurant as her, or she just, everywhere she was, she epitomized the love of Jesus. It's just amazing to me. When we first started, we had been here a little bit, but there was the restaurant. It was before New Creations. It was the one before, I can't remember the name of what the restaurant was there, but it was when we first started. But there was the Swifton Cafe, maybe what it was called, I don't know. But Sister Louvell invited us to go eat with them. And I was like, okay, yeah, that'd be great. And we got up there and we ate, and we sat down and we ordered and whatnot. And we got our food out, and we were visiting and talking and whatnot. She said, well, let's pray. I said, okay. Y'all, I thought we was going to have an altar call in the restaurant. She led the prayer, and it was mighty, and you know, and that's just who she was. She didn't care. She epitomized the love of Jesus. She told people about it. I love the scripture we read where it says, you know, everywhere you're at, teach it. I mean, that's what she did. Maybe without even saying anything sometimes, but she loved the Lord, no doubt about it. She did. Secondly is this, and I know none of them are here today, but it's so true. She loved her family. She loved her family. Remember them in your prayers, by the way. But always, I was talking to Chaylin and Destin, so I said, y'all don't even know, but if you're toe hurt, I heard about it because she called me and said, you need to be praying. That's a fact. She'd call me and she'd say, you need to be praying. And she'd call me about people I didn't know, and I remember I'd say, well, I don't really know them. Well, Jesus does pray for them. Yeah. You pray for her family. She loved her family. She was proud of her family. Like I said, it was just amazing to me. I never will forget this, y'all. I've been here a couple of years, and I never will forget. We're sitting at the parsonage. I was probably watching TBN. That's how I roll, you know, just only godly television. I'm sure it was something amazing, you know. But I remember we were sitting there watching TV. Kids, the one kid, she wasn't born yet, was laying there. I remember I got a knock on the door. It's like 10:30. I thought, you know, somebody's got the wrong house. You know, I don't understand what's going on here. So I got up, and I remember I walked in. I opened the carport. I opened the front door, and nobody was there. So I went around the carport, and Sister Louvell was there. And she was crying, and I said, oh, what's happening? And she told me about Destin. What had happened, you know, and what they'd found, and they don't know what's going on. I'm about to head that way, but she said, I just had to stop, and we got to pray. So we prayed out there in the carport, and what she prayed. And I never forget just the love she had for her family. She was worried about, and I can't, you know, it was there, that love there was just so apparent. And she was worried, and then I remember the next day we rolled up to Louvell, and they had found out that they thought they'd got it all and everything was good, and she was bouncing around like a pogo stick. She was. Everybody was talking about it. I went in there and Cody, I said, where's your grandma? You know, Meemaw, where's Meemaw at? And he said, I don't know. He said, they found out the good news. He said, she's been jumping around here ever since. And boy, she was. I seen her, and I said, what are you doing? And I said, I heard the news, and I hugged her, and oh, she was whooping and everything else, and just was so excited. She loved her family. It was just, I strive to have that kind of love for my family. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing that it was something, how she loved them, how she cared for them, and how she looked out for them. She loved the church. When I first came, like I said, these are just things that impacted me. I just thought I'd tell some stories that kind of impacted me here. But when I first came, I remember I sat down with her in the parsonage, and we wasn't furnished yet. We hadn't moved. We had just been kind of new, and y'all called one a pounding, so I was real nervous. I didn't know what that meant. I thought I was about to get beat up. But people were bringing us some food and stuff. I remember she'd come by and she just sat and visit with me. Like I said, we had no furniture here. Everything was still in Melbourne, and Sarah was still in Melbourne. I had stayed. I think there was a fellowship meeting on a Tuesday or something, so I just spent the night and stayed. And Sarah and Bradley went back, and I was sitting there, and she grabbed a seat, and we just talked for a long time. And she told me about Murphy's Chapel. and her ministry there, and she just, you could tell she loved what she did there. And her ministry, she loved the church. And then she talked about how everything transpired to where we consolidated, and this became her church, and she loved this church. And she loved the church. If she couldn't be here, she was here. Now, was it always on time? No. Was her phone always silent? No. The last thing I said to her Wednesday night as she was leaving, Lincoln's phone had went off. And I said, Miss Louvell, be honest, that was your phone and you made him take the fall. And she laughed and said, I don't know. But, yeah, she was always here. She was here. She said, right over there, it's going to be. It was weird this morning walking by. But she was always here, and she was always a part. And it didn't matter what it was, she was going to be here, and she was going to be a part. And that was it. Like I said, if she wasn't here, she was sick or family, she had her priorities right. I love that about her. She loved the Lord, she loved her family, and she loved the church. And her priorities were in order, and what a blueprint she laid out for all of us. That's right. She loved the church, There's some things about love that I've seen in her, that I experienced. These are stories I've never told anybody, and some of them she wouldn't want me to because she doesn't like to be bragged on, really. She liked me to joke with her. I don't think she really wanted me to brag on her. I'm going to brag on her right here. Me and her both kind of showed love the same way. We joke. So it was just an instant thing there. We just meshed. I didn't know her that well when I first came, and I don't know how the whole joking thing started, but she apparently said something to me and I ran with it, or I said something to her and she ran with it, but we just kind of are. Y'all, I studied for several hours, several days for a sermon. And that's also how long I studied to know what to say to her when she walked in, because she was bringing her A game. I'm kidding you not. When she walked in the door, she was bringing her A game. She was about to come up with something good, and I had to be prepared. I'd see her pull up, and she'd back her rig in, and she'd drive up on the grass a little bit, and she'd hop out, and here she'd come in, and I had to be ready. Whether it was me holding the door shut, I had to do something, or she thought I was mad at her. But I had to do something, and I remember thinking, I thought I was witty before I came here, but then she showed me that she could put me on the table real easy. But so there was just something there, and I never will forget the calls of encouragement she always gave me. She would always call, and I know she didn't have to, and I know she probably, I know why she did it. She did it because she just wanted to encourage me. But she'd call oftentimes and say things like, hey, I've been studying the Bible a long time. I never thought about what you said today. You brought it out differently. Well, that was really good. Just stuff. She was just doing stuff just to encourage me. She didn't have to call that. She may not have really blown her mind like she said, but she just was wanting to call and tell me how much she encouraged me. And man, it was good. I ain't gonna lie, it felt good. And then she was always that to me, and she always was encouraging. Whenever we had when I had my little spell there in December where I kind of was at a crossroads and didn't know what to do, I had lots of people come visit, and I don't want to minimize that at all. I appreciate everybody that came by and seen me and whatnot, talked to me, deacons and everybody. But Miss Louvell came by and seen me, and she sat down in there, and we talked for a long time, and she said, I'm going to love you either way. Whatever you decide to do, I'm going to love you, and I just appreciate you, and it's been great. And she said, I'm sad. I know I'm sad. And we talked about it. But she said something I'll never forget. She says, don't do what you think you have to do because you don't know what else you can do. And there's something very similar to that. And I remember thinking that, don't do something because you think you have to do it because you can't think of anything else to do. And I remember thinking, man, that's big. Because that's kind of where I was at. I didn't know what else to do. So I just thought, this is what I got to do. I remember she said that, and me and her always had a joking relationship. She got real serious real quick, and she laid that out to me. And I remember that was a big reason why I decided to do what I did, and I'm glad I did. But that was why. And then I remember, never will forget. This was last month. We know the tragedy that struck in Sarah's family and whatnot, and I never will forget. We're sitting there at the visitation, and it's heavy and it's sad and it's bad and it's awful and. All of a sudden, here comes Miss Louvell walking through the door. Drove by herself. Showed up. Hugged us. Had something lighthearted to say. Broke the ice. Made things, made things a little more normal as much as you could be in that situation. That was just her love. I wasn't related to her. I said 3 years. But she thought enough to, you know, it's just her godly love to think that I need to be there for them, you know, because that's what I need to do. And she did it. And never will forget that. Never will forget that. She loved people. She epitomized what the Bible says love is. It's patient, it's kind, all those things. She epitomized that today. The next thing is this. The first L is love. The next thing is leadership. Isn't that a word that epitomizes Sister Louvell? She was a spiritual leader, like I done said a while ago. She was always calling me, telling me to pray for somebody. You know, hey, pray for so-and-so in the community. And like I said, I'd say, I'm not going to who that is, but just pray for them. You know, just do that. And she was always telling me to pray for people, and she wasn't just telling me to do it. I knew good and well she was doing it. Right. She was lifting them up. She was praying for them. She was such a spiritual leader to her family. She taught them. She was always talking about, hey, pray for my family, pray for this, pray for that. She was always about that. I always noticed it at, whose kid is that? I always noticed at community services. If you'll notice, everybody hugged and said hi to Sister Louvell. Her life, her spiritual life wasn't confined to these four walls. When she passed away, I think every church in Swifton nearly put something on Facebook about the passing of Sister Louvell. That says something. I mean, to me as a minister, I just read that and I say, that says something. That says that she wasn't just a denominational Christian. She was a community Christian. There's somebody that touched the lives of people in the community, not just in the people that maybe were in her little group or in her denomination or in her way of thinking. Are you with me today? That's big, y'all. That's crazy. That's Jesus stuff there. You know, Jesus he was bigger than a denominational person. He was a community, he was a world Christ. So that just grabbed a hold of me. That's who she was. We already talked about it once, I'm talking about it again. She was a family leader. Do not, and I repeat, you do not mess with Sister Louvell's family. I would rather fight a hungry grizzly bear. I guarantee it. I only seen her mad 2 or 3 times, and it was all because somebody messed with her family. And I was like, boy, I'm glad she likes me. Like, yeah, I ain't ever doing nothing to them. You know, they could punch me in the face and I'd say, good evening. Because I don't want Miss Louvell on me. She loved her family. She served her family, and like I said, I know they're not here today, but the stories they tell me and things, and this just shows what kind of person she was. She was a protector. Like I said, I never seen her upset. I never seen her in any kind of bad mood or aggravated or anything, unless you messed with her family. Now, there was a few times she said, you need to pray for me. She didn't say pray for them, she didn't pray for me, because this is, you know, she would maybe go into detail, and she'd say so-and-so, my daughter or my grandson or my, you know, this one or that one, you know, somebody's, you know, kind of being ugly to them, and we're not going to have that. And I said, I understand, I'm going to pray, you know, I'm going to pray for everybody. Because I can tell you, you just didn't mess with her family. She was a protector. She was a teacher as well to her family. She taught them Jesus. She taught them work ethic. She taught them integrity. She taught them respect. When I've got to know them, I can tell they looked up to Grandma, to me, Mom. And those were things because she sowed those things in their lives and they recognized it. She was also a church leader. I talked about it. She performed both roles of leadership and she did it amazingly. In Murphy's Chapel, the stories that she's told me and things and other people have told me, she had to be that vocal leader there. I've heard several people say Murphy's Chapel lasted as long as it did because Sister Louvell Duncan. She refused to let that thing separate. She believed in the body of Christ, and she supported it, and she was there. I've talked to Brother Brandon Gates. He pastored there, and he told me. He said, "I tell you," he said, that's exactly what he said. That church many times could have folded if it wasn't for Sister Louvell. And she was there, and she was a leader, and she loved it. And she accepted that role, and she did it. And like I said, you don't hear people talk bad about Sister Louvell. At least they don't say it to me. I'm glad they didn't, because I put them in their place. But they didn't say it to me because she was a leader in the church. And then she came to Swifton, and this is how I've always known her. She was the other side of that deal. You know, I said at Murphy's Chapel, she was the vocal. You know, in her younger years, she was vocal, and she was the business-minded, and she was that. And here, she just led by example, didn't she? She was still a leader. You didn't hear her much, and when you did, she was always saying something funny and whatnot. But she was a leader here. She led, like I said, by perfect example. She was faithful. She was a leader. I mean, she was faithful. She was here. 80, you know, I guess when I started, she was 83 or 2 or 3, and she was 85, you know, when she passed. But, I mean, you could easily say, I'm just going to sit at the house. I've done this long enough, right? I've done this plenty. It's time for me to retire. I'm done. But no, never missed. Rain, shine, cold, hot, never missed. Here. If she wasn't here, you called and checked on her because she was sick. Or you knew about it because she said, hey, there's something going on I got to go to. Kids are having something, maybe in Cave City. I mean, every now and then she could go to that. Different things. But she was here. She was faithful. And that's a form of leadership. Who knows that today? Because you knew she was going to be here. She was a leader, like I said, in this church. And just, I think sometimes great leaders don't lead anything. They take part in everything. That makes sense? Great leaders don't really lead a certain thing. They just take part in everything. And that was just Louvell. Women, she was here. You know, everything. I mean, just every aspect, everything we had going on, she was a part of it. She comes to VBS. She would come to these different things, and she was a part. And she was a leader, y'all. I guarantee you, she taught me a lot about leadership, just in who she was. Not real loud, quiet, didn't make a scene, but just was there. Was there. And you knew how she felt, you knew what she believed, and she was there. Today, can I tell you, a lot of leadership isn't how big and how loud you are. That's kind of the world's view of leadership anymore. The loudest leads. You notice that. Whoever's the loudest, whoever throws the biggest thing, and whoever, waves their hands and jumps up and down, that's the one that leads because they're the one that sings. Sister Louvell proved that you don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to be the most boisterous, even though when the Holy Ghost hit, she was boisterous. But all you had to do was be there. With the right spirit, with the right mindset, and you were a leader. And that's what she was. The last thing is this. I talked about love and leadership, and we talk about legacy. Boy, had she left a legacy. Y'all, if I did what she deserved, we would talk about it for the next month. A month of Sundays. 2 months. 2 years. I could talk about all the different aspects of Sister Louvell, the godliness about her, that I could preach on that for now until the Lord comes back. That's the kind of legacy she left behind. She left an impact on the community. She left an impact on her family. She left an impact on the church. Honestly, and I'm not just saying this. People sometimes say things, but I truly mean this. I don't think I've ever met anybody person to person and got to know somebody that had such an impact on her community, on her church, and on her family as Sister Louvell. I think that's unparalleled to anybody I've ever met today. I really believe that. I don't believe I've ever seen that. So now here comes the question, all right? Question I kind of asked this weekend. How do I honor her? Right? How do you truly honor somebody like this? Look at all the stuff we just talked about in one person. That I've known her 3 years. Are you with me? I can't emphasize that enough. I wrote all that down in just the 3 years I know her. I can't imagine, the family's told me stories. Y'all have told me stories. If I'd have known her for 10, we ain't eating lunch. We're just going to go right on through on Sunday night. If you don't come on Sunday night, you would have today. Because we're just going to make it work. But, look at how do you honor somebody like that? How do you really do that? And I talked about that as I was writing this up and thinking of stories and thinking of things I want to talk about. I was like, how do I truly honor her the way she deserves? The Lord just kind of gave me this thought. Now, it's the only way, and that is just to live a life like she lived. That's how you honor her. Every time you do something with integrity, you honor Sister Louvell because she had integrity. Every time you're faithful to this place, guess what? You honor Sister Louvell because she was faithful. Every time you show love, every time you do the things that we just talked about that are Jesus things, you honor her. I talked to some of the family and they said, we don't know what we're going to do. And I said, you're going to do exactly what she taught you to do. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to get through. That's who she was. So how do we honor somebody that words come express? You live it. You live it every day. You talk about it. You tell stories. You tell stories about her. I think that's so important. I think it's so important to these moments that you cherished with her, that they don't get forgotten in time, that you bring them up, you think about it, you talk about it. I guarantee you everybody's done that this weekend. Has thought of something about her that just brought a smile to your face, brought a tear to your eye, or something. But that's what you got to do. I'm going to close with this little thing that I think is just what you got to close on with a Sister Louvell. Honoring her in this way, and I have to. My favorite Sister Louvell story. I had been here about 6 months. I don't know, but I guess me and her kind of figured each other out. We were already in how we picked at each other. And one day, I'm driving from Newport back to Swifton. I don't remember why. But I see a golden Malibu sitting at the liquor store. There, that's with right there for the light. And I look over, and it's Sister Louvell. She's on the phone. She had pulled off to talk on the phone. Y'all, I all but did a U-E with my e-brake. I had to get back there as quick as I could because I was about to get one up. I probably did hit somebody. I don't know. I may have jumped the tracks. I don't know what I did, but I whipped around there, and here I pulled up right next to her. And I was excited. And she was sitting there on the phone, and I hopped out, and I walked around to the glass, and I pecked on it, and she looked, and you know how she do, she looked, and she was still on the phone, she pointed her phone, and I said, I'll wait. I ain't about to leave this deal. I ain't going nowhere. So I kind of stood over by the car a little bit, probably people, who knows what anybody else drove by, we're preacher, but it was worth it. So I waited, and finally she hung up and she rolled her window down. I said, what are you doing? She said, I had to make a phone call. I said, sure you did. I said, am I going to have to search this vehicle? And she laughed and she said, well, I'm just going to tell you. And like I said, I thought I was witty when I came. I was real proud of myself. I was like the class clown of Melbourne. Right? I thought I was quick. I thought I was always on my feet. I thought I was the one that did the jokes. And I said, I'm going to have to check your vehicle. Don't lie to me. And she said, you caught me. She said, we got this new preacher, and this is the only way I can hear him preach. And I said, it's going to make you have a great day. I had nothing. I had not a thing. I was just, all right. From that day on, I studied as much for her as I did with sermon. That is my favorite Miss Louvell story that epitomizes who she was, our relationship, and I'll never forget that. And that's how we got to close this thing out right there. Sarah, later on, I was telling Sarah what I was going to tell the story, and she was laughing. She said, and you'll remember, and I'd forgot about this, but about several months later, she called me and she said, Brother Kendall? I said, yes, Louvell. And when I answered her calls, I never said hello. I always said, do I need to bail you out? That's what I always say when I answer. Do I need to bail you out? And so I said, do I need to bail you out? She laughed, said, no. She said, I just want to let you know, I was on my way to Walnut Ridge, and my vehicle, I had some kind of problem. I don't know if it was tire or what. And she said, I'm parked over at the liquor store in Mission. And she said, somebody's fixing to go get my vehicle. And I said, you just couldn't drive, could you? And she said, well, I just want to let you know. So that's who she was. That was, I'm going to miss her, y'all. I'm going to miss her. I know everyone here is going to miss her. I'm going to miss her coming in late and sitting in the back because she didn't want to interrupt. And I know it wasn't because she didn't want to interrupt. It's because she knew I was going to say something. I'm going to miss her phone ringing. I'm going to miss her jokes. I'm going to miss her whooping. Woo! I'm going to miss those things so much. I'm going to miss the encouragement. I'm going to miss the love. I'm going to miss all those things. I'm going to miss seeing her come up. When we have altar calls here, she'd come up and she'd have somebody to pray for. Hey, we need to pray for them. We need to have this going on. I'm going to miss those things so much, but who knows today, while we will miss her and her quirkiness and her personality, who knows the things that she epitomized, the things we talked about, those things are eternal. That's kind of been what I grabbed hold of. That's the thing that's kind of got me through this. Is those things ain't going nowhere. Now other people may have to pick them up and run with them, but they're not going nowhere because that's Jesus stuff. The stuff that she did, while it may have come out of her, it came from him. And that's what we've got. And that's what we need to cling to, and we need to recognize. That's a responsibility we have now. You know, Paul said, I finished the race. You know, I kept the faith. She did that. Yes, she did. She finished the race, she kept the faith, and she did it with all the traits we've talked about. She did it. So it was her time to go home. And can I tell you today, I guarantee you, I think of this often. I know this close is going long, but I can't help it. I often will think about what is someone's doing in heaven. You know, what's somebody doing up there right now? I think of I have a great grandma that's there, and I said, you know, she's guaranteed there is not anybody there that ain't got a crocheted toboggan on their head in heaven. I don't care what the temperature is. There's Afghans as far as the eye can see. I guarantee it. You know, it says there's cattle on thousands of hills. There's doilies on thousands of hills. I guarantee it today. And I've got another grandma over there, and I used to say she's already remodeled her house like 7 times, her mansion. I guarantee she's done changed furniture up. She's always doing that stuff. Miss Louvell today, can I tell you, she is hopping and skipping down the streets of gold. And I guarantee you they've done heard about 8 or 9 Ric Flair moves since they've been there, if not more. And I guarantee you she's teaching them how to dance around the throne room of God. I guarantee it, because that's who she was. And what a privilege. As I was praying Friday night for the family and everybody, I couldn't sleep. I said, I'm gonna get up and kind of get up a little bit. I just all that was on my mind, you know, just shocked and everything. I got up and I just kind of went in the living room and sat there and kind of knelt at the ottoman and was praying a little bit. And I just said, Lord, thank you. That's all. Lord, be with the family, be with the church. You know, Lord, we don't understand why. You know, we don't understand why things happen the way they do, but I do understand how they happen. Here's the deal. We may not understand why it happened the way it happened, but I know how it happened where she is today. I know how she made heaven, Jesus. I know how she lived the life that she lived, Jesus. We may not know why, church, but we know how. We know how today. Understand that. So I was sitting there and I was praying, and I was just, Lord, be with the family, be with the church, be with all of us, and just, Lord, just, you know, put peace and understanding, and Lord, just, you know, give us the understanding that we need to step up now and give us the drive to know that we can be that. And that sounds huge to me, but who knows that we can be Sister Louvell's. As big a job as that seems to be, we can do it because Jesus can do it. You can be somebody's Sister Louvell. I can be somebody's Sister Louvell. I can make that kind of impact on somebody. But I was just sitting there praying, and next thing I knew, I just kind of went into thank you. Thank you, Lord, for seeing fit when I was not even born yet. When you know, He says He knew us before we were born. When you were molded and kindled. Thank you for knowing and seeing and saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to place him in a church with Sister Louvell, where he can experience who she is and who she, you know, what she was. And I just started weeping, and I said, Lord, thank you for that. Thank you that I got to spend 3 years with Sister Louvell. A kid from Melbourne that should have not have ever done that. But you said, you know what, I'm going to place you in a church so you can do church with her. That's big. Today, you're blessed today. Guess what? You got to live in a community and go to a church with Sister Louvell. Some of you for all your lives. You're blessed. Thank you for that. And guess what? We're going to get to do it again. We are. We're going to get to do it again. This ain't the last time we do it. We're going to do it again. I can't wait. Because I'm going to have the jokes lined up, y'all. I'm starting writing them down. And when we get up there, I'll have to pick on her to make up for old times. And I know she'll be ready. But remember that today. Thank him. Thank him for that. That's what we have. That's how we celebrate it. You know, we often think, it's so hard in these moments to celebrate. You celebrate by thanking. Just thank you, Lord. Let's stand all over the house.